bright that is. Wow. Hi Flosstube friends. Today is Friday, February 14th, 2025. I am Audrey Marine and this is a channel about cross stitch, and I've got a lot to show you today. First of all, happy Valentine's Day. Yay! I love Valentine's Day. It's wonderful. Everything is pink and red and cute. So hence the red lips. Also, it like goes with my sweatshirt, even though you can't tell. I love this sweatshirt. Last time Ryan and I went to Disney World, I saw one woman walking around with this sweatshirt in a distance, and I was like, I'm gonna find that. And so I spent the next 2 days checking every gift shop at Walt Disney World to see if they had it. Didn't have it, but I found it online, so very excited. And anyway, it's very comfy. Ryan says it looks like it's giving me a hug. I was like, that's how I feel. So it has been about 6 weeks, maybe a little bit more, since my last video, which was on January 1st. And I was thinking about doing another video later last month, but then I kind of, I was like, do I have enough to even make a longer video? Do I have enough to show? Do I care to do one right now? And then I was thinking about doing one last week. I thought, you know what? Ryan's gonna be out of town the following week, this weekend. He's off on another adventure. So I thought this would be a great time for me to just have a quiet house and record and show you guys all the stuff. So, well, I have a lot of finishes. I have some FFOs that I'm really excited about. So let's just jump in there. If you guys follow Faye Rigsby, and I will put her handle here. If you follow her on Instagram, you will have seen, I would think, her last few posts where she's shown some things that she's finished for clients. And one of the posts was a bunch of my stuff. So let's start. It's a bunch of little pillows, tiny little samplers. So let's pull out, I'm just gonna go in order that I have the charts here. Mary Ann Groom, this was basically my blessing sampler. It came out in December of last year. Nicola released it, I think, earlier than she was planning because everybody kept asking for it. But so cute. I had a lot of fun stitching this one, and Faye did an absolutely fabulous job. Out of all 5 of these, I don't know which one's my favorite, but they're all gorgeous. And Faye added this little bow, this little crown. Oh my gosh, it's so adorable. It's so cute. This is on 56 count white mustard from XG Design. I will try to tell you guys all the fabrics if I remember, but all of these smalls are on 56 count. I wanted them all to be tiny. The plan was to have them finished into tiny pillows. I used the called for silks, and I did go over the satin stitches twice. I did them twice, and I didn't do 2 threads at once. I did 1 thread at a time, did the entire sawtooth frame here, and then did it again. And they very clearly lay on top of the fabric, and I think it looks very nice. And Faye finished it with this cord and this beautiful red backing. Yeah, and all of these little samplers have a red thing going on. And I have a couple months ago, I got a LaHaye's carrier in red. So I have to like have a surface on which to put this darn carrier, but I think they'll all look nice in there together. This, I think this, yeah, this came out probably a year ago at this point, because I remember working on this one in France in July. So maybe not quite a year, but this is another Hands Across the Sea, needlework from Distant Shores, Maria and Maggie. Maria is with the framer right now. She's actually framed. Lisa, the framer, is working on just the last piece, and then I'll get to go collect everything. But Maria is framed, but Maggie was so tiny on the 56 count cockle shell that I thought I don't really need to get her framed. I can have her finished into a small little pillow, and I did, and look at it. Brenda also stitched this one in 56 count. She did it in black, and it looks really neat, and she had it framed in like a big chunky frame. Looks great. On these little ones that I have turned into pillows, excuse me, I don't add a signature or anything. I add a signature on the framed samplers that I stitch. I have talked about this before because I don't know what the risk is that someone will look at it sometime and go, oh my goodness, it's an antique from the 1800s, and not realize that actually it's a reproduction of an antique from the 1800s, but was actually stitched in, you know, the 2000s. But there's no danger with that. This one, this third one here, this is Jenny van der Vegt. This is something that I charted myself based on an antique in my collection. I have one antique, that's what it is. And I stitched this on 56 count old mushroom from XJU Design, and Faye finished it with this beautiful fluffy ribbon and the red back. When I sent her everything, she sent me a message to let me know that she got everything and said she was really excited to get started on these. Can we just do a thin cord for everything? And I said, you know what? I love the thin cord, but I also love this fluffy finish you've done for this fluffy, you know, ribbon finish you've done for me before. And if you can incorporate that onto, you know, into the order, that would be great, but everything is really up to you. So she actually used 3 different types of finishes. She did the cord, and then for this one, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of like couched. The ribbon is couched along the edges. I think that's neat. And then this fluffy, it's so fluffy and nice and stiff too. Okay. I want to say thank you to everyone who made a donation to UPAWS and got this chart. Whether or not you stitch the chart, that doesn't really matter. I'm so grateful that so many people donated to UPAWS. You know, they can always, all animal shelters are always in need, so I'm really appreciative to those who donated. But I want to say a special thank you to the few ladies who have made Jenny van der Vegt their blessing sampler. I know that Rose Heck, fearless stitch-along leader and co-host of Traditional Stitches Flosstube, you all know her, and Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot, she stitched this on 56 count, as did Steph, Late Girl Stitches. And if you haven't gone and watched Steph's Whip Parade, you should, because she's got great taste and she shows a ton of stuff. Okay, these last 2, oh my gosh, I love them so much. Okay, let's pull this one. This one I showed the work in progress on my last video because I had started it, I think, on December 31st. So when I did my January 1st video, you guys saw, you know, a day's worth of work on it. This is Elizabeth Hibbert, 1879. This is from the Words of Wisdom box that was released by Hands Across the Sea Samplers back in the fall of 2023. Is that right? And finally got around to stitching that one. It's so cute. Again, I stitched this on 56 count. I stitched this on 56 count Winter White by Seraphim. And oh my gosh, look at it. Faye put in this pin. She picked this beautiful green for the side, and it contrasts so beautifully with the red. Look at this. Look at it. Oh, it's so cute. Again, you know, these samplers that have all of these color changes, they're such a pain in the butt, but they look so good. They look so good. All right, and my last one is Elizabeth Dinsdale. No, I did not stitch this on 56 count and have it turned into a tiny pillow. I stitched this on 56 count. So if you have not ordered Elizabeth Hibbert, this is the chart that was released for Hands Across the Sea Samplers anniversary, so December 26th. And it came with this bonus primer that was also stitched by the same girl, Elizabeth Dinsdale. The great thing is that it's in this large format book, and the primer all fits on one page. So it was super easy to stitch from. It was really fun. So I went ahead. Oh, look at that. And Faye did that beautiful red cord. And I like this little detail here. I don't know why, you know, why she decides to do what she does on different pillows, but everything is perfect. So thank you, Faye. Thank you very much. Life is short on the bottom. That's true. We will never have enough time to stitch all the things, but we're trying. I really like this one. It's so tiny, so tiny. The only thing I noticed when I was stitching this is that down here, this row of blue, those are actually 4-sided stitches. And normally I don't have any problem using Swab 100.3s on 56 count. I like how the stitches are super puffy, but with the 4-sided stitch, the effect I think kind of got lost. So in the future, if I'm stitching 4-sided stitch on 56 count, I would prefer to use Swass Surfine, just so that that square kind of opens up a little bit more and you get the effect. But maybe you can see there that it's supposed to be a 4-sided stitch. I don't know. Anyway, I'm super happy with all of those. I think they're just gorgeous. Thank you very much, Faye. She sent me pictures before she, like the day that she was mailing them back, she sent pictures that she had taken. And I just, it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, I can't believe that's mine. It's mine. Okay. All right, the next few finishes I have to show you are not FFO'd, but they are done, and that's what's important. I had an impulse start a few days ago. What day would it have been? Well, more than a few days, I guess. I guess it was almost a week ago. I was thinking about Valentine's Day coming up, and last year on Valentine's Day, I started a very small piece. It was heart-shaped and a little floral design, and it said a token of love in the middle, and it was a freebie from Mill on the Floss, Tabby Cat. Go to Tabby Cat online and you can look for her freebies and you'll find it there. I think she would still have it up. Anyway, I stitched that up. That was one thing that Faye finished for me last year. I gave it to my mom, so I don't have it to show. But I was thinking, well, maybe I should have another Valentine's Day start. Well, this wasn't a Valentine's Day start, but it was a Valentine's Day themed start near Valentine's Day. This is a Token of Love Quaker Heart. This is something I purchased from Market last year. I probably purchased like a dozen things from Market last year, and I have finished just a few. I don't even remember. But this one I was thinking of, this model is stitched on Chris Bonbon by Weeks Dye Works with antique lace and pink champagne from Classic Color Works. Well, I didn't want to stitch it on brown, but maybe it's supposed to make you think of chocolate? I don't know. So I thought, well, I have the prettiest pink fabric. God, it's not really showing up. This is really the prettiest pink fabric. This is Ice Rose from Numbers 12 Stitch Co. There, I'll kind of fold it behind itself and maybe you can see more of the color saturated. So from Number 12 Stitch Co. This is 40 count. And I used Gloriana Valentines. I went through my Glorianas. I have just a few pinks because I really only have like maybe 20 Glorianas. I really don't have that many. But this one I remember I actually got at Hobby House in October. I needed a pink Gloriana for something and they didn't have the color that was called for this Shakespeare's Peddler chart, which I still haven't started yet. So I just picked a couple pinks and this was one that I picked. And I thought, well, even if I don't use it for that chart, I'll use it for something else. And I did. Oh, and I can tell you guys, I cut my Gloriana into 18-inch lengths. And then I used 3 of these lengths. And they are comprised of, 12 threads in each length, right? Because it's like 12 ply. So 36 little 18-inch lengths of thread got this done. And I'm not super careful with my thread. So, and I stitched this with one thread on 40 count, obviously. But I love the variegation. I think it turned out really nicely. It's so cute. I was thinking about putting something else in the middle. This is what's charted a Token of Love, but I was thinking maybe I should personalize it with my initials, Ryan's initials. Maybe I should write something else there. Maybe I should just do more little heart motifs. I don't know. Ultimately, I just decided to, let's not overcomplicate it, Audrey. Let's just do this. So I stitched a Token of Love in there. And I thought that, I posted this on Instagram, I thought these would look so good with the new Velvet Hearts from Mary Jo Heine. If you guys have not checked out her Instagram or her website, she's got a new kit that, well, there's 2 colorways for these candy hearts. There's bright candies and then there are pastel candies. And they're so gorgeous. They're so gorgeous. So you could display your Valentine's Day items with some cute velvet things. So I don't have the hearts, but I have these strawberries that I made. And these came from, these were made from a Mary Jo Heine kit. So when you get the strawberry kits from Mary Jo, it looks like this. You get everything you need. You can see the velvet in there, and you get just the right amount of velvet. You get ribbon and floss to make the little, you know, loop here, hanger. And then you get tons of beads and sequins. So this is the pastel velvet strawberries. But these ones came from, I think they're just called the classic color combination. I don't remember exactly. Oh, I think I have it here. Let me see. Oh, it's just velvet strawberries. So anyway, I've made all of the ones from this first pack, and they're a little time consuming, a little, you know, you gotta be careful with them, right? Do all the beading and everything and cut out all these bits and sew them together and then do the beading on the top, but they look so nice. Anyway, I think that would be nice to have like a Valentine's Day display of those items. Who doesn't love pink velvet? And so it got me thinking that last July, I took all of July and stitched nothing but Christmas smalls and then sent those off to Faye. And so at Christmas time, I had this beautiful display of little Christmas items. And I thought, well, this could be the start of my Valentine's Day items. So I think I need to get some of those Calico Confectionery charts. They have really cute Valentine's Day designs. And I thought I could get a few of those and stitch them up on different pinks and creams fabrics, and then have those all finished. And then for next Valentine's Day, have little Valentine's Day pillows and those hearts from Mary Jo and some strawberries. How cute would that be? Super cute, super cute. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, let's put that down now. And actually, Nicola, who dyes this fabric, number 12 Stitch Co., she sent me a message. She said that she really liked that finish. And I said, yeah, it went so quickly, because I think I stitched it in 2 days. It went so quickly that I think it would be cool to do different, like that's a tone on tone, right? Because it's pink on pink. But to use her sea glass, which is like an aqua colored fabric, and get another like darker aqua Gloriana, and stitch the same thing on it, and maybe do like a yellow on a yellow. I don't know, she doesn't, I don't know if she has a yellow. But anyway, I think that would be really cool. So something to think about. Okay, my other 2 finishes. Let's do this one first. The Rose and the Giant Pear. Many of you may recall that I have actually already stitched this. I stitched this about a year ago, and a friend of mine gave me all the Swazervine for this because she apparently was talked into stitching it on 56 count with Swazervine by somebody at the attic. And she was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So she sent me the Surfine. So I stitched it and had it finished into a little pillow for her, but I was loath to give it up. So ultimately I knew I had to stitch it again for myself. I finally did. And I had more 56 count creme brulee from Tabby Cat. Oh, there we go. That's the color. And I used the same Swazervine because I had tons left. And look, we've got another Jeff the Duck. Look at him. He's so cute. You guys probably don't remember, but, or maybe I only put it on Instagram, but when I stitched this the first time, Morris really likes ducks. And so I stitched this the first time. I was like, look, Morris, that's a teeny tiny duck. What do you think his name should be? And he goes, he looks like a Jeff. I was like, okay, Jeff it is. So Jeff the Duck. Jeff the Duck comes back. And Jeff the Duck, this Jeff actually gets to stay here. Now this one I'm planning on having framed, so I put my teeny tiny signature here. It's just an A and a 25. I actually stitched it in another color up here in a bolder color. It was like this wine colored silk that's in that Pear. Stitched it up there, but I stitched A24. So I ripped it out. Tons of fun ripping out over 1 stitches on 56 count. It's as awful as you would imagine. I did have fun stitching this though. It goes pretty quickly. I mean, I probably stitched this over like a month or a month and a half or something. But if you did it monogamously, I think you could do it in a week. Yeah, it's so pretty. Yeah. I like it. So I had thought, you know, maybe I would stitch it 2 more times, once so that I could have it framed and once so that I could have it made into a tiny pillow. I may still stitch it again. I'm not getting rid of the chart anytime soon, but it's not going to be for at least another year. I have so many things that I want to get to, as you'll see. So we are done for now with the Rose and the Giant Pear. Okay, and my last finish is a new start since I have seen you guys last. This is Fanny Wilson. This is another from the Words of Wisdom box. And it was a nice little design. It's only, I mean, the stitch count is not that big. 138 by 140. So I pulled this out. You know, Nicola was talking about releasing her new box, and I was like, oh boy, I haven't finished the old box. To be fair though, in the Words of Wisdom box, there are 3 charts that I don't think I'll stitch. One I definitely won't stitch, the Cease to Do Evil. It's just not my jam. It makes me think of Mermaid Man, evil, and I don't need that on my wall. So I won't stitch that one, and then there are a couple others that I just look at and I go, I'd have to, I don't know, they're not really doing it for me. So of the ones from the Words of Wisdom that I have stitched, you know, I finished, I don't know how many, and then there are those few that I won't get to. I only have 2 left to do, pretty sure. One is the Mrs. Salmon, the 60 Diamond Minutes. It's a monochromatic sampler. And the other one, I can see it in my head, but I can't remember her name. So I'll have to dig that one out. It's another one that's not super big, but it's more involved than Fanny Wilson here. Okay, this I stitched on, let me see. Do I have it here? Yes, okay, this I stitched on 56 count Spindrift by Cedar River Linen. It's just got the slightest hint of peachy cream. I don't know, it's so hard to see it here. I had a little bit of light coming in, not anymore. And I used the called for 103s. Again, with the top few rows here, with all the color changes, I was ready to be done with that. But by the time I got down here, this stuff just flew because it was all the same color. And then I was happy to be able to put in some hot pink. That was fun. You'll see my, yeah, it's right there. My little signature there. Just the, I don't even know if you can see it. There you go. There it is. A25. That one I actually put in correctly. And then there are some eyelets here under this crown. Those are fun to stitch as well. But yeah, Fanny Wilson though, her name and location and year, that is all over one, and that took hours to do. It's just such slow going, but it does look really nice. Looks really nice. Very happy with this one. And I was wondering, you know, as I was stitching it, I was thinking, well, do I want to have this framed or do I want to have it made into a pillow? It'd be kind of a larger pillow, but not too bad. You could still put it in a little dough bowl or a tray display, something like that. But actually, I like what it says so much that I want to have it framed and on the wall. Truth and sincerity are the foundation of all happiness. I think it's a nice, at the very least, it's a nice thought. Good to be truthful and sincere. I really like that finish. All right. So now we are on to whips, and I just have one. Well, I have a couple whips, but some of them are new to you guys. So we'll go with the one that you've already seen so far, and that is Eliza Townsend. This is from Cross Stitch Antiques. So a lot of people just call it Oh Sweet Humility. That is the first line, or the first few words in the verse there. Yeah, you guys should be familiar with this at this point. Even if you haven't seen a lot of finishes on this one, it's gotten a lot of interest. A lot of people like it. Katie Strachan is stitching it. I don't think she's finished it, but I have seen a couple new people start it on Flosstube, and I can't remember anybody. But this is my progress so far. Last time you saw this, which would have been back in December, I think, I had only gotten to about here with the border, I believe, and then I hadn't done the pond or the house, and I hadn't done any of this up here, any of that up here. So it's been a couple months since you've seen her. You might think I should have more done by now, but I'm plugging along. I'm probably almost to the 50% mark, right? Because I've got 2/3 of the border done. I've got about half the grass done. House is done. So I really like how this one is turning out. I love the colors. This bird, I was stitching this just the other day, and it's one of those things where while I was stitching it, I wasn't really thinking about it. And then when I came back to it a couple hours later, I was like, that bird is really pretty. I like the two different blue greens in there, the stripe of red. He's just a pretty little bird. So I really like this. You know what though, I was talking to someone, maybe it was Laura. It was that day we talked on the phone, but Eliza Townsend, a lot of people have been talking about this one because of Charlotte Warrington, that was made available in the Homespun Needlework, Cross Stitch, and Samplers group on Facebook. Charlotte Warrington from Needlework Press. They have found in their research that Eliza and Charlotte were not necessarily related, but there is some sort of relation between them. There's some sort of connection, and that's why the samplers are so similar. And there's even some information on the back of this booklet. But another one that I found that is really similar, it didn't even occur to me, but in May 2024, yeah, just last year, Hands Across the Sea released their Queen of the May, and it was Hannah Green. And I was so excited. I thought it was gorgeous. I ordered it right away. I got all the silks, and I thought, well, I love it. I have it. I'm going to stitch it, but not right now, right? I've got other things going. And a few weeks ago, I was just going through my charts, just looking through to see what I had. And I had already stitched quite a bit on Eliza here. So I was very familiar with the design, the layout, the chart. And so I pick up Hannah Green and I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's the same darn thing. The house is a different shape and the color scheme is different, but the border is the same. A lot of the animals are the same. There are 2 trees on either side of the house, and these 2 little houses are on the Hannah Green chart with the weird trees next to them. See, house, weird tree, house, weird tree, also on Hannah Green. So Hannah's silks have been put in the pot basically, and I don't know that I will ever stitch her, which is kind of sad because she's really pretty, but I don't want to get done with Eliza and then stitch the exact same thing. And that's probably why I never ordered Charlotte. Plus, you had to order the whole kit, and I just didn't feel like I could commit to whatever the cost was. It was a bit much, so. Okay, so Eliza Townsend, that was one that I said I wanted to finish this year. I don't have you know, a more specific goal than that. I just want to get her done sometime this year. Maybe by the summer would be great. I mean, I was thinking it would be nice to get her done by the end of this month, but I'm okay taking my time with her. I am enjoying spending time with her. Okay, new starts. I was just itching for a new start. This would have been early last week, and I was like, well, what do I got? What can I pull out? What do I have all the materials for? And I pulled this out. Elizabeth Duff Kirton, 1873, Hands Across the Sea Samplers. This is one that I purchased from Hobby House in October during the Great British Sampler Weekend Comes to America. To my knowledge, this chart was exclusive to that location and that weekend. It's not on the Hobby House website. It's not on the Hands Across the Sea website. Maybe Nicola and team will release it at a later date. I have no idea. But there are 2 other samplers that were made available and are exclusives to Hobby House that are on their website. Those are Elizabeth Poingdestr and Kathleen Dempsey. And they're both really small and would look really cute stitched up on 56 count. So those are on my wish list, but I did not get them when I was there. You have seen Kathleen Dempsey if you watch Brenda and Laura, because Laura stitched Kathleen Dempsey. It's just got like a simple alphabet and 2 little birds, and it says Kathleen Dempsey. And she stitched it and had it framed in 2 months. It was great. But Eliza Duff Kirton here. And pardon the one hanging thread. But I think that's probably about the right color. So I started this last Monday, I think it was, pretty much because I wanted to stitch eyelets. I wanted a new start and I wanted to stitch eyelets. And those rows of big letters are all eyelets. So I got my wish. These, I made myself finish these 2 rows before I could really get into this stuff, because I knew I was not going to want to go back to that. You mean I get to stitch 1 letter in 1 color and then stitch another letter in another color? Yeah. This is stitched on 46 count Mason linen. This is antique button, medium dark. So this, what you're seeing here is probably the color. But when I hold it closer, so you can actually see the stitches, it blows out a bit. Yeah, this is very pretty. It's been fun to stitch. And I am not, you know, not too terribly far from a finish if I just keep plugging along with it, because I finished all this and then I started on this row. So I have more eyelets to do here, and then all of this is just cross stitch over 2, except these capital letters down here are more eyelets. And then there's a bullion knot on the door. So I'll have to practice that, but that's it. So it doesn't seem so bad. And this is 173 by 224. Ryan came in, he's like, what you working on? And I had sort of like spread it out so he could see it because it was in a hoop. He was like, oh, a big one. I was like, it's not as big as some of them. Because when one of the, you know, stitch dimensions, whatever you want to say, is in the 100s, I don't really think that's super big. Like, it's sizable and you'll end up with a nice piece, but just wait till I show you what I've done next. Okay. Okay, keep going with my notes here. All right. The Uffindell Sisters. Yes, the Uffindell Sisters. Okay. Put that down there. All right. Sorry for the wiggling. Okay, so at Hobby House, I purchased Tong Uffindell, and I've told this story before. I purchased Tong Uffindell, and everybody knows Tong, right? It's gorgeous. A lot of people have stitched this. It's absolutely beautiful. It's probably one of Hat's most popular charts. But I made my purchases, then I'm back at the, you know, Stitchy retreat thing, and I hear people talking about the Uffindell sisters, and they're like, you know, not many people stitch Isabella. She's like kind of forgotten. And I was like, that's so sad. And so then I had to go back to the store and buy Isabella. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna stitch Isabella first before I stitch Tong. Because, I mean, we don't want Isabella to be forgotten. But also this one is bigger. It's quite a bit bigger, and you just wanna do the bigger one first, get it done. Yeah. But Stitchin' Gem wanted to start Tong with me. So it was like, yes, of course, of course. So she asked me what I thought a good start date would be, and I picked Valentine's Day because I thought, well, I don't have the fabric I need for it yet, so I want to make sure that I can get it in time. Let's do Valentine's Day. That's an easy date to remember. And how fun would it be to start Tong together? Well, if I'm gonna start Tong, I had to start Isabella first. So I started Isabella yesterday. And I have a tiny little start, but I'll show you. I have a tiny little start. And I am using 45 count Jersey Cream Legacy Linen from Access Commodities. And I'm using the 100 threes. There is a list of called for 100 threes on the Hands Across the Sea Samplers website, because on the charts, the only floss colors that are given are for DMC and Soie d'Alger. So again, a super tiny start. And this, let me show you. That's half. It folds out again. And there will be extras on the bottom, but not as much as you would think. She's a big girl. She's a big girl. But, and I also gave myself a generous margin because I purchased a yard of fabric because I wanted to stitch Isabella and Tong on the same fabric, the same kind of fabric, the same color. And I thought, well, each one, even on 46 count, requires a fat half. So if I order a full yard, then I can cut it basically into thirds and have quite a bit of fabric left. And that's ultimately what I did. I did all the counting of the threads, you know, because like Isabella is 332 stitches wide. That's how wide she is, 332 stitches. So what I did was I gave myself a generous margin, and then I counted over to half of 332, which is 150 plus 16, so 166. Yeah, so I counted to 166 and put a needle in there, and then just like folded it and figured, okay, it's gonna wind up wherever it's gonna wind up, and I'll have plenty of room over here. We hope. And I mean, I was very, very careful about this because I didn't want to get a ton of work into it and then find that I hadn't given myself enough room when I had so much fabric. But I will check and check and check again before I get too much farther into this. But I love the color palette here. I'm not super worried about the specialty stitches, except that I see there is some over one here. No. Does she have? I thought she had over one. No, it's Tong that has a ton of over one. Isabella, I don't think has as much or any. No, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she just has satin stitches. Way to go, Isabella. Okay, so I was getting that a little confused. Now you'll see a photocopy in here, and I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so here's Tong. This is the one I'm starting with Stitch and Gem. You should go back and watch her latest video. It just came out a couple days ago, and she shows, you know, regular whips and things, but then she talks about our start here. And I guess a couple other people are starting with us. So what Gem asked me to do was to come up with assignments, because I told her when we were talking about starting this together, I said, now I may regret this, but do you want to try to finish it in a year and do like a little bit each month? And she said, yes, let's do that. So what I did was I made a photocopy of the front of the chart and then just took a highlighter and broke it up into what I thought were reasonable bits. So only part of the border is highlighted because Tong here has a great great border. It perfectly divides into 12. You just have to do 3 of these flowers and of course the bones of the border per month to finish it in 12 months. And then I broke up the inside here into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 parts. And I told Jem that this is how I broke it up, but you know, there are no rules really. And Jem, if you get 1 month and you're like, I cannot work on this thing, don't work on it. But if you get to another month and you're like, this is the only thing I want to work on and I want to do 3 months worth right now, then just do that. Because last year I worked on Marie Louise Puree, and the idea was to do a line of that per month because there were 12 lines. So do a line per month plus a little bit of border and you'll have this beautiful thing finished at the end of the year. Well, what happened was in the fall, I really hit a wall with that thing. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, but I want it to be done. And so I took like a month and a half or 2 months off from it. I just like removed it from my site. And then when I went back to it, I blazed through it and I actually finished it in November, a month earlier than I was set to. So just do what works for you, Jem. I'm just gonna do what works for me. And also I told her that I am a top left starter, so I'm starting up here and kind of going this way. She said that she's a top right starter, so she's gonna start over here. And then, you know, maybe she'll just go down and then start on this stuff or do the middle first. I don't know, it doesn't matter. So I will go ahead and if you guys are interested, I can put this in my stories and you can take a screenshot or you can take a screenshot right now and you can join us. But I think this will work for us, maybe. Tong is a big chart. She is 320 by 378 stitches and very dense. And again, has some over 1, has some satin stitching, but she's gorgeous. But I was thinking about another big chart that I finished last year. That was Maria Ewan. I love Maria. She's on my wall in my living room. And besides my children, she may be the finest thing I've ever produced. I love her. And Maria is a big piece. It's not as big as Tong. The dimensions aren't quite the same. But I stitched her in 3 months. I started her at the beginning of May. I finished her at the end of August. You're thinking that's 4 months. But I didn't stitch on her at all during July. So it was just May, June, and August. I finished Maria in 3 months because I loved her and I blazed through her. So I think with Uffindell Sisters, I might be happy to take my time throughout the year, or I might blaze through them. I have no idea. I think with Maria, there was enough that it felt like a bunch of little wins when I was going through it, and I never got bored with her except for that one stupid tree that I hated. Yeah. So for Isabella, now Jem is not stitching Isabella with me. There is no requirement that anybody stitch Isabella as well, but guess what I did? I broke this one up as well. Now, Isabella's border doesn't divide as nicely as Tong's does. You basically need to stitch 3 2/3 of these flowers and a tulip each month. So I just said the heck with it. 4 of these flowers in the border and a tulip each month would get the border done in 12. And then I broke it up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is how I broke it up there. And my plan is to stitch this alongside Anne and to have both Uffindell Sisters finished by next to Valentine's Day. That's the goal. But I do think, I mean, I did a rough estimate. I went through and counted the stitches just for Isabella's border requirements for every month, and that would probably take me 2 days just to do this, 2 days to do this. And so I thought, well, 2 days to do this, and then probably like the rest of 1 week to do one of these sections. So we're looking at like a week every month put into Isabella, a week every month put into Anne. Am I really going to keep this up? Who the hell knows? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm doing what I want to do. It's cross stitch. But I want them on my wall. I imagine them together in matching frames. And I know they're different sizes, so they're on the same count and they're different stitch dimensions. So they're going to be 2 different sizes when they're finished. I don't care. I want them finished together on the same fabric, in the same frames, and paired somewhere in my home. Yeah. Oh, which reminds me, you guys may have noticed I'm in a different room. I'm in a different room because last month Ryan was out of town for work again, and I got a bee in my bonnet, and I decided to switch rooms with him. And I talked to him about this beforehand, and he helped me like unplug his racing sim, thank God. But I moved everything out of this room, which was his office. I had the carpets cleaned, and I painted it. I painted it the same color as the original Floss Palace. And then I, it's such an ordeal. But I did take videos along the way of the transformation. So when this room is finally done being set up and decorated, I don't even have window treatments up or anything. But I will put all those little clips together and I'll put them on YouTube for you guys to see. I told Laura about this and I'm sure she has not forgotten and she wants to see this. So I can't back out now. And I still have all the videos. So it was a really hard 5 days or whatever it took me. But I just kept thinking, Audrey, you're going to be so happy when you're in that new room. And I have this big, beautiful window. And look at my lighting. Look at my sweatshirt. It's so cute. Oh, you guys, look. Wait, where is it? That's so cute. It's embroidered. I love it. I love it. So I'm very excited to be in this new room. And now I can even have the door open. You notice it's open because somehow I have trained the cat not to come in here. I still keep it shut when I'm not in here, but it's amazing. I can have the door open and I've got a big window. It's wonderful. Yes, so exciting things. Okay, speaking of exciting things, I think, yeah, let's get to haul and then Stitchy Kindness. I have a lot of Stitchy Kindness to share. I'm very excited. Okay. Haul. I did get the All Things Bright and Beautiful box. We can't share anything until March. That was Nicola's request because some people, hopefully everybody's gotten their box by now, but there are probably some people who are maybe saving it for Valentine's Day or some other occasion. So she asked people, I saw this on a Facebook group, she asked people not to share until March 1st, I believe. But I will tell you that if you kept everything in order, this will make sense to you. Number 1, I will be doing with Roxy Floss on Roxy Floss Co-Linen. 5, 6, 10, 13, and 14, besides number 1, are my favorites. And 4 and 7, I probably won't stitch. 4, it's a lot. And 7, it's like an assault on the eyes. So maybe if I change the color palette, I don't know. I looked at 7 and I went, ooh. So that one was not for me. But out of 14 pieces, I dislike 1 and another one is just too much of a time investment maybe compared to some other things that are higher on my list. I think that's pretty darn good. So I would say I'm very happy with the box. Nicola knocked it out of the park. Her and her team did a great job once again, and I'm so grateful I was able to get it. Came a little earlier in the year than I would have liked, but whatever, you gotta get it when you get it. And I'm excited to share, go over the charts and share that stuff with you when I start them. I'm thinking probably I'll start the first one in, I don't know, April, maybe not even till May, but they're just so beautiful. They're so beautiful. So if you have favorites from your box that you've opened, you can leave the numbers in the comments. Don't write the names and don't say anything about the charts, but just leave the numbers. Like my favorite is number 3 or whatever. That would be fun. Okay, I also ordered some fabric from the attic. This was several weeks ago, and I got this bundle. This is Mason Linen sewing box. And this is all 46 count. So you've got the light, the medium light, the medium dark, and that dark. Ooh, it's so pretty. I love it. It all looks like caramel. I love it. So thank you to the ladies at the attic who made that happen. And then I think I mentioned on my previous video, it must have been, because I think it was back in December, Vashti went to a shop in California. Was it Needle in a Haystack? Oh yeah, because it says right here, Needle in a Haystack. So she went there for something, and she texted me. She's like, they've got Mason. What do you want? I was like, whatever. So she got me 46 count button box. This is another really warm color. I love it. This, I think, is a fat quarter. And then she got me a fat half. She's like, they won't cut it. I don't care. This is haberdashery, and it says medium, but I don't know if it's medium light or medium dark. But this is also 46 count. So I should get 2 good samplers out of this. 4 small ones? I don't know. But I really, haberdashery was one of those on the Mason Linen website. I think it looks a little green, and it does a bit, but not as much as I feared. I really like it. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's gorgeous. Okay. As many of you know, Sampler Symposium happened a few weeks ago, and there were a lot of recap videos of that. I would say go watch Sean Periwinkle Stitcher. Her video is 2 hours long, and it's amazing. And she goes over all the charts, and she talks about the people that she met, and it was, I wanted to be there. I mean, I didn't want to be there because it sounded like it was a buttload of people, and we just didn't have the money for it. But I would have liked to have spent time with some people who went, let's put it that way. But one bit of stitchy kindness I got after Sampler Symposium was a friend of mine who went, one of the 240 people who went. She got this, everybody got a copy of Susanna DeCarl from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. And she said, I'm not gonna stitch this. Do you want it? Hell yes, I want it. I want it because this is a tiny little thing. It's 100 by 127. So on 56 count, it's going to be 3.5 by 4.5. It's going to be so tiny. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to stitch this on 56 count, and then it'll end up in a tiny little pillow like this. Oh, it's so cute. It'll probably be more like this tiny little thing. So little. Yeah. So thank you. Because Karen Lynch posted, she was like posting pictures of everything that they got. And when this popped up, I was like, oh, I want that. And then I got it. So yay. Thank you. Yeah, I actually almost started this like the day that I got it in the mail, and I was like, no, Audrey, calm down, calm down. But it's even done with my favorite red, which is 664. So I'll have to, it calls for Needle and Flax Dirty Teacup, and I do have that, but I only have it in 46 count. So, and I have other 56 count. I'll just pick a 56 count from my stash and do that. Okay. Then I got, sorry about the wiggling. I actually put the phone to record on my desk this time. So now every time I touch the desk, yeah, I think I need to go back to putting it on a separate pedestal of sorts so that when I bump the table or pick stuff up, I don't wiggle the camera. But okay. Then Vashti, is it okay that I say it was you? She sent me some stitchy kindness, and I was bowled over. She's so nice. I got this pack. I was expecting some things from her. Oh, because I was expecting the Mason Linen, because she bought that like in December or something, and I was like, can I have my Mason Linen, please? She's like, oh yeah, I gotta send you your stuff. So this big box shows up, and I was like, this is not a couple pieces of fabric. This is more than a couple pieces of fabric. And I open it up. First of all, open it up, and it says Happy Valentine's Day, which is so cute. And she had texted me, and she was like, the box is really ugly, so I had to make it pretty. And sure enough, it shows up, and it's like got all these heart stickers all over it. But then it's like taped all over the stickers. There was so much freaking tape on this box. I'm like sawing through it. It was ridiculous. But I open it up, And there was the 2 pieces of fabric that I knew that I had gotten from her, but she sent me Jessie Challoner, 1904. This is an exclusive from the attic, and you guys probably know by now Vashti works at the attic, so she can just buy it right there. And she and I had talked several weeks ago when this was finally released, and she, you know, are you gonna order it? And I was like, no, I'm trying to be good, I don't need it. So she sent it to me. But not only that, she sent me all the silks for it too. Oh, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. And that's not all. She sent me a piece of 56 count Lakeside. So now I can say that I have touched Lakeside, because I have. I took it out of the bag and I molested it and everything. But she said that Jean, the last thing that Jean was working on was this Jessie Challoner, and she had chosen 56 count Lakeside Vintage Sand Dune. So Vashti went into her stash and she found a piece for me. Let me pull it out of the packaging. Sorry for the crinkle. And it is this gorgeous mustardy color. And you know what? I don't actually think I'm going to use this for Jessie. I do need to iron it and hang it up, but I love it. So this is for the faded colors that are on the front of Jessie's sampler here. If you guys, I'm sure you're all aware by now, but this is a sampler that was reproduced by Hands Across the Sea Samplers, and the antique, the front of it has faded to this color palette, but the back looks like these colors. So they charted both colorways, and you're able to purchase everything in one chart, but then you've got to pick your colors. Brenda bought all the colors. And I don't blame her, because for a lot of people it's super hard to decide. Yeah, but I like the faded ones. I like the softer tones here, but how pretty are those? So thank you very much, dear. I really appreciate that. I've been racking my brain trying to think of what to put on that, because I want to do something really special with it. And I don't want to cut it up for smalls or anything like that. I want to do a beautiful sampler on that linen. And then she also sent me this chart, which I don't have. I don't actually have a lot of Brenda Gervais charts. This is Needleworkers Sampler. All my scattering moments are taken up with my needle. Isn't that true? But this is cute, and I could just stitch it from stash because it really doesn't call for that many colors. A lot of them I actually have, or I could do my own color palette. But how cute is that? I was thinking about the Brenda Gervais charts that I have. Her designs are so cute, so cute. But I've done just a few. I did some Halloween ones, which you guys saw, those smalls. And I have a couple other seasonal charts from her. But I don't have, besides this one now, I don't have any of her samplers. I think she's done a couple reproduction samplers too, right? But yeah, I don't have a ton of her stuff. Okay, so that was my Stitchy kindness. It was very overwhelming, but I'm very thankful. And now I've shown you guys I can dig into this. I don't know when I want to start all the things, but I don't want to have all the things started, if that makes sense. Like, calm down. Okay. Just a couple of reminders. If you guys are going to stitch and Tong Uffindell with me and Jem, make sure you tag me at StitchStitchBead and tag Jem. She is at StitchinGem. I will put it here. And then I just wanted to give a couple recommendations for just things I've been watching. Flosstube. I watch a lot of Flosstube. I don't always find new people. So if you guys have new people that I should be watching, people I don't mention, you are free to leave your recommendations below. But I've been watching a lot of Cross Stitch the Globe. Stephanie and Allison, two sisters from Oklahoma. I watched their 2025 plans video a few times just because it was so funny. Allison was more realistic how I was a month ago, and now I'm like, I want to do everything. And Stephanie was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Blah, 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 blah. And it was just fun to watch. But recently they did a most expensive charts, and this is from data that Stephanie has collected from eBay sales. Most expensive charts for 2024. And then most expensive cross-stitch kits sold in 2024. And holy crap. Holy crap. Just go and watch it and have your mind blown. It was lots of fun. Oh, and I have a note here about Stitch and Gem. Happy anniversary, Gem, because she is celebrating 1 year on Flosstube, as is Holly. Holly's of Hobby. Hi, Holly. And Holly, yes, whenever you come to Indianapolis, just reach out, and if I'm home, we can get together. And I did mention Late Girl Stitches. Hi, Steph. She had a really great whip parade, as I said. And then Julie Darling, who is Jules with 3 S's, Darling. I'll put that here on Instagram. She put out her first video at the end of December. I didn't see it until a few days into January, though. And it just popped up on YouTube. And I was like, oh, I'll watch this chick. And she started talking, and I was like, yep, I like her. She was so well-spoken. And then she started showing projects, and I was like, I like all of this. And I realized when she was talking about, you know, how you can find me on Instagram and all of that, I was like, oh, we follow each other. We already know each other. But it's different when you actually see like a moving head instead of just that tiny little picture on Instagram, isn't it? Yeah. So go give Julie a watch if you haven't already. She has done 2 videos now, and the last one that she did just came out, well, it was probably a couple weeks ago at this point. She shared her experience at Sampler Symposium, but she didn't show all the projects. You know, a lot of channels have done that, but she showed some finishes, some frame finishes she got back. And one fun thing that she did was she showed a bunch of Valentine's Day charts that she wants to stitch. And one of them I had never seen. I mean, a few of them I had never seen, but one of them is on my wish list. That Valentine Wabbit with a W by Sheepish Designs. It is so cute. So now I'm like, well, now I need like hot pink fabric, and I gotta find this chart. Like, oh, it's so cute. So it's just another thing that I think would be cute to add to my Valentine's Day display that I hope to have next year. Anyway, it was fun. I really liked Julie's video, so I hope that she does more. Please do more, Julie. And then I think I mentioned, if you're looking for a great recap of Sampler Symposium and you want to see all the charts and everything, all the projects that were given, go watch the Periwinkle Stitcher, because she did a great video. So that, I think, is all that I have for you. Don't I have enough going on? Yeah. I know that I didn't show a ton of whips today. It's just that I haven't been working on a ton of different projects, and the things I've been working on, I finished. So we're done with those. But next time you see me, you should see more progress on Eliza Kirton and Eliza Townsend and the Uffindell sisters. I will have a start later today on and Tong. Yep. So yeah, and I'll probably have some other smalls thrown in there. I'm kind of at the point though where I need like more smalls to do, because I like my big huge samplers. I love them, but I also like, you know, taking a break from that and then in 3 days stitching a tiny sampler, right? I think I stitched this in 2 or 3 days. And this was 2 or 3, no, this was more. This was like 3 or 4 days because of all the freaking colors. But, and then this one, I think I stitched in 5 days. So it's nice to take a break from these bigger things and then to do something really small and be like, oh, I have a finish. But I'm looking around, you know, looking on Instagram, looking on different sites and stuff. Not like I need more charts. I need more charts like I need a hole in my head. But some smalls that I can do, Susanna DeCarl, this will be one of them, that are about this size that I can whip out and go, yay, I have a finish, and then go back to my daunting giant samplers. So anyway, who knows what I will have to show you guys next time, but I want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Vashti and friends, for the Stitchy kindness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, speaking of Stitchy kindness, I forgot to show this after Christmas. It's a llama, but that's not all. It's so cute. So Mom got this for me for Christmas, and Mom, I use this all the time. His name is Chester. He's named after Chester A. Arthur. That's Ryan's doing, just to let you know. but he's super cute. I don't know where my mom got him, but I'm sure you could Google llama tape measure and get yourself one. It's so cute. Okay, I'll leave you with that. Okay, happy stitching. Bye.